And we're live, ladies and gents, boys and girls. Welcome to another edition of Kayfabe Corner. I'm, of course, your host, JPO, Jordan Pierce Owens. I'm joined by somebody involved in the world of pro wrestling, especially here in the state of Florida. I'm joined by my main man, the very, very entertaining Tweedle Die, everybody. Tweedle, how you been?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. And literally, like, how have you been? It's a weird, interesting time that we're living in right now, man. Literally, how are you physically, emotionally? How's everything going for you?
It's kind of weird times. I don't. I'm doing all right. Getting by. I'm married, so I take care of my wife, and I got the shoot style job, and go to work and pay bills. That's what I'm doing.
That sounds like life, man. That is life, yes, indeed. So let's start off with the origins here. Even before you get in the business here, where does wrestling first start for you? Are you a fan growing up? What's some of your early memories of pro wrestling?
Oh my God, man. My earliest memories of wrestling, probably about 3 years old, 4 years old, maybe. I remember going down to the Bayfront Arena and seeing Dusty Rhodes and Mike Graham and Ric Flair, the old wrestling from Florida. You know, um, that was probably my earliest memories of wrestling. And my uncle was actually in the business. He was trained by the Malinkos in the late '80s, early '90s. I would imagine I was probably about 10, 12 years old. Um, when he was training, maybe even a little younger than that. Maybe I was like 8 to 10, and we used to go out to the school, and the old man would train every well. Old man at that time wasn't really training anybody, but he'd sit and drink coffee and have Joe and Dean do all the training. And my growing up, I would sit and watch wrestling with my uncle. We used to sit and watch Saturday night 6:05 TBS. Being from the South, that's what you get is the NWA. That's the WCW. That's what was prevalent in the area here was Florida wrestling and NWA, and it's just it was good times. You had I always was drawn to it by the over the top characters. The Ultimate Warriors. He was such a big character. Hulk Hogan was such a big character. He wasn't. It wasn't just Terry Bollea out there wrestling. It was the Hulkster. The eat your vitamins, say your prayers. Macho Man was another one. Uh, in that northeast territory that kind of drew me to wrestling as a kid. Um, those guys just, they could go out there and go for an hour and still be entertaining.
You might have already said the name. I don't know. Who was your number one guy? Who's the guy that most drew your attention and you were the most champion for?
See, I was a heel guy. I always liked the bad guys, man. I was drawn more to like Jake the Snake and Roddy Piper. When it as far as like the WWF goes, but like growing up, Ric Flair was life. You know, Ric Flair is a heel, and totally the Four Horsemen in their heel run was just awesome. Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Barry Windham, those guys awesome. And Barry's such a cool cool dude. Like I've met him at shows, and he's always been so cool. He's got a freaking grip like a bear still to this day. But those guys were the epitome of badass. Like when I was a kid.
So now, where does the origin of you as a wrestler begin? What age are you? Is it something you've always planned on? Did it just kind of happen? Where does your first beginning start at?
Well, I was probably about 16 when I kind of was like, you know what, I'd love to do that. I'd love to um, see if I had what it takes, kind of deal. And so when the time came, I was probably about 18 years old. I started searching out different schools. It was kind of hard to find a school to to learn how to wrestle. But I worked at Walmart in Pinellas Park, Florida, and there was somebody, a coworker there that worked with a guy who trained wrestlers. He actually trained Molly Holly. His name is Lance, the Black Knight, Lance Vlasic. He was a trainer at a school, and he took me on as a student when I was like 18. So I went and trained there. And this was 2001. I went and trained there for a couple months, and some things happened. I ended up not finishing my training there, and a couple years passed, and then I went and found a group of guys out in Plant City that had literally a ring set up underneath a barn in their backyard, and it was like a full-on, it's like a high spots ring or whatever, but it was a pretty decent shape. And he said that they ran shows in Mulberry Civic Center and around the area there, and I was like, all right, well, sign me up. They're like, well, come show us what you got and what you know. And so I started kind of getting back into it and training, and I went and bumped around and rolled around with them, and I had my first match probably 2004. Maybe 2000, maybe 2007, maybe 2007 is probably the right time frame.
Is there anyone else you kind of credit throughout the years that has also really helped you along the way?
Oh man, the guys in Florida that have been helpful, rest in peace, Navy SEAL, Mark Zout, tremendous help. Frank Reyes, guys like Pretty Fly, Todd was awesome. He used to run FPWA in Pinellas Park area, and he knew, so many different guys. Like Jude McKenzie is another name I credit to helping me, grow as a character. Frankie Chiazzo, Eddie Torres, the guys that have been staples in Florida wrestling since 2000, like early 2000s. Those guys have been killing it, like Damian Angel. Oh my gosh, there's just so many names of guys that have helped me along the way. Helped me get better. David Mercury, David Mercury he's got such a mind for the business, and he's such a great technical wrestler. As so many people don't realize how good he actually is. And I think you're seeing that now that, he's like a trainer over at the Jay Lethal School. You're seeing the quality of the students that are coming out of these schools here in Florida, and they're a lot better than they used to be. Sin Bodhi really, really, really took me under his wing in about 2010, and he provided so much knowledge. I could only soak up so much. I was trying to be like a literal sponge and just take every kind of bit and piece that all these guys would throw at me, and use what I could use that was relevant to me. Bruce Santee, another name. Bruce is not much really of a mentor so much, but you get your ass beat by him once and you learn. It's kind of one of those things. You'll either learn and get better, or get out. So I felt like I learned from an ass whooping, and I felt that I got better over the years. So
let's talk about too. Of course, I called you Tweedle earlier, but I know you're going by a couple different names. We see the jacket behind you. Tell me about a couple of different names people might know you by.
Oh my god, man! My first wrestling character or gimmick was Rick Riot. I still get called Rick Riot to this day by certain people. Uh, Tweedle Die, and then one of the local favorites, man, is it's got to be Hard Body Rick Roberts, the sexiest man in professional wrestling. I got
Talk,
some
talk to me.
I got
Oh,
some
sorry.
merch
Yes.
over there, some
Oh,
merch,
there
some
we go.
Tweedle Die merch over there. So
So talk to me about the inspirations of those. Let's start with well, first let's start with Rick Ryder. That's new to me. Where does that name come from? Where
oh
do
my
you
god,
stumble that upon?
man, Rick Riot came about, and it was just "Let's Start a Riot," the freaking song "Let's Start a Riot." Come on, it was terrible. It was like that was the early pre, like knowing anything. Like that was like your first step foot into the ring, like you don't know what's going on. You just kind of, okay, here's my name. That was terrible. So fast forward like a year and a half, and Hard Body Rick Roberts was developed in a church at a church wrestling show. It was just kind of a thought between myself and I think like Jude McKenzie was there, and Mark Mandrake, another name that's helped me along my way in wrestling, and his wife Ferrari. We all kind of had giggles when I said, you know what I should do is I should draw my abs on, and I'll be Hard Body Rick Roberts, and they're like, yeah, it's great. And I had these big glasses, like the Stunner shades, and I started out where I would draw just like a 6-pack, and then it kind of eventually grew where I draw a 6-pack or an 8-pack, and I draw the cuts for the other side abs, and then I draw like a bicep cut, big feather boas. It was great. And Tweedle Die, man. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at those pictures. Oh, man. the one the one in the top corner that was blown up with my stomach even larger. Oh, man.
So where does Tweedle come into the picture then? Where does that inspiration come from?
So 2010, I was at a ACW show in Bourbon Street up in Newport Richey, and Sin Bodhi was working the show, and he saw me, and he fucking giggled, like he just giggled like a schoolgirl. I had the abs on, and he comes, he's like, hey, you need to come upstairs and sit with us in the upstairs locker room, and I gotta talk to you. So he starts talking to me, and we kind of just exchange phone numbers and have a little chit chat, and then a couple weeks later, he's like, "Hey, I've got this idea. I got this gimmick that I want to give to you. It's kind of like a cross between Uncle Fester, a birthday clown, and Tweedledee and Tweedledum from Alice in Wonderland." I'm like, "Sure, let's do it." And we started doing not just wrestling shows, but stage shows at these little shithole bars, like in Tampa, like they're all kind of like neat little bars, like Crowbar and stuff like that. But like some of them just these little dive bars, and we were doing stage shows for tip money, and that kind of just crossed over into wrestling, and I kind of made it my own, like developed it, I guess, as the time went by, and changed it and adapted it to um, kind of my own thought process.
What were some of your favorite matches you've had, man? Who did you really clicked with?
I've had the pleasure of working with some really awesome guys in the ring. Um, One of my favorite guys to wrestle is is Titan, 7 foot tall, 350 pounds. He's a big dude. He's one of my favorite guys to ever get in the ring with. Um, Big Vito LaGrasso. He's another one of my favorite guys to be in the ring with because he was fun. He made it fun. Cuban Assassin, Dave Sierra. I mean, he's another guy that a wealth of knowledge in the business. And he makes you crack up while you're trying to like hold a straight face and all that. One of my favorite referees to be in the ring with is Dave Linton. Uh, he's another guy that's just always making it fun. Wrestling is not just the two guys competing. It takes that third man, or in a tag team match, that fifth guy to make the match. And your idea is to get the whole match over and get the show over. It's not just about getting your own work and your own work rate and your own moves and doing everything that you want to do. It's about getting the other person over as well as the match. So it takes that three-way, three-person dynamic to have a good match.
What were some of your favorite promotions and locker rooms to work for?
I had a long-standing relationship in Florida Underground Wrestling, run by Howard Word. He ran a great locker room. It was so fun to be part of that group. I had the privilege of wrestling in front of 10,000 people at um, one of the shows outside the Forum one year, and that was awesome. And I had a very long relationship with New Heights Wrestling up in the Panhandle. I still, those guys up there, they're not all real good, but they all want to be better. You know what I mean? So like those locker rooms up there are just so fun to be a part of. You don't have a lot of like shitty in wrestling. There's so many shitty people because they just want to trample you or they're looking to better their spot. I was never really that way. Like I don't care. Like I want to have fun, and when it stops being fun, it's time to get out. And unfortunately, I had to get out recently because of some physical limitations, but it never stopped being fun. It was fun for a long time. Uh, New Heights Wrestling really treated me really well. They always took good care of me. They paid me well and always showed me in a good light, and utilized my abilities and talents and stuff.
You kind of addressed already, of course, what we got to talk about is the retirement, man. Have we seen the end of Tweedle and Rick? Did it come to an end for you here?
I mean, you know, I'm one of those guys that's like never say never, but like I stepped away and I haven't wrestled a match since December of 2019. Um, and it was the last match I had was a dog collar match, and it was like a loser leaves town type deal, and it was it was fun, and I was in a lot of pain afterwards, and I've had some real bad nagging injuries, lower back, my knees are giving out on me, and I've got, I believe, a fractured foot. So unfortunately, I'm not able to get really taken care of health wise right now because my insurance is crap. But once like I said, you never say never, man. I'd love to, step back in the ring and mix it up with some people, and uh, you kind of just have to wait and see. Maybe down the line when I start feeling better, maybe.
I mean, definitely. Here's the hope in here. You mentioned, is there anyone on the hit list? Is there anyone left that you never got the chance to work with that you're like, oh, I would have had something good with him?
I there's a lot of guys, and there's a lot of guys coming up too that I'd love to mix it up with. I see these guys, you know, like locally. I try to stay kind of current, and I see like guys like Tony Donati and Fabu Andre. These guys are incredible. Well, they're just so fresh in the business, and they're still learning, and they're still getting better. Every time I see them, they're getting better, and they're doing something new. And Fabu, I love his gimmick. I think it's it's a throwback, you know what I mean, to the characters of the 80s and the early 90s and stuff. And that's what I really enjoy, was those characters. Francisco Chiazzo, I would love to step in the ring with Francisco Chiazzo. I think that we could have a really solid match. Um, he's a veteran, he's got probably 20 years in the business, if not more. There's so many guys out there. I can't even name them all. I mean, Aaron Nova. I'd love to step in the ring with Aaron Nova again. We had one brief tag match that didn't really go as planned. Nothing ever always goes the way it should. I wanted to. There was so many things that we could have done, and so much more, and it was just crap.
If somebody came to you and they were new in the business, what kind of advice do you give to someone that's just starting out?
Stay the course. Stay the course. You always want to keep your nose to the grind, keep working, keep pushing. Um, I have a weird saying that I always like, kind of, it's a motto, I guess, I kind of try to live by. Be better today than you were yesterday. Always try to improve. If you're not doing something to better your life, better yourself, better your situation every day, then what are you really doing? You're just drowning. So like, I'm always trying to push myself to that next level and that next step, trying to get better, trying to better my situation, I try to have a good outlook on life. I don't want to be one of those glass half empty kind of guys. I want to be the glass half full. So I try to, what, tomorrow will be better. The day after that, that'll be better than yesterday. That'll be better than tomorrow. And just keep pushing.
Absolutely. Uh, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You personally, what you got going on?
You know, my shoot job is right now as a cook. I was a restaurant manager for a little while. Um, Unfortunately, that didn't really work out where I was at. Um, but in 5 years, I'd love to see myself back in a position of restaurant management or even a general manager. Um, you know, Somewhere down the line, I'd love to own my own restaurant. I love cooking. I love food. Obviously, right? A 500-pound guy likes food. What a shocker! It's a passion of mine. I love I have a couple of different passions. One is wrestling, one is food. It's just something I enjoy.
Would you have chicken strips on the menu?
Absolutely.
How many per serving?
I see so many people that have like 4 or 5. I think I'd be like a 6 kind of guy.
I'm coming to your place. Coming to your place. I like it. Good answer. Good answer. I've always just been curious, what is the logic where some people do 3? I'm like, I can't, 3, come on, you know more than 3. Anywho, seen any good movies lately?
I don't really, I hate to say it, but I don't really watch a lot of movies or a lot of TV. We don't even have cable, so it's like I kind of just we stream on Netflix or whatever. Yeah, I don't really watch a whole lot of movies. I'm still like I just caught up on the last season of Gotham, so that was like my go-to series to watch when I had time. I really I like to watch a lot of like food TV, like Hell's Kitchen's fun to watch. Anything with Gordon Ramsay, he cracks me up. Just call me an idiot sandwich chef. You're an idiot sandwich.
Any other plugs? Is there anywhere anyone can reach you, or any other kind of parting words you got for us here?
I mean, I still got plenty of Tweedle Die merch.
Sell it. Where can we get it?
You can reach me on Facebook, man. I've got a Tweedle Die fan page. I've got a Hardbody Rick Roberts fan page. I actually just started making lamps out of like upcycled liquor bottles. So like, I've got some cool bottles. Let's see if I can. Let's see.
Oh, what we got going on here?
This bad boy. It's a gun. It's like a machine gun type deal. It's a liquor bottle. I'm going to try and make it into a lamp. So yeah, like I'm doing that. I got a page set up for Rick's Liquor Lamps on Facebook. So hit me up if you got a request. I got Jack Daniel's bottles, Crown Royal bottles. I've got all kinds of neat looking bottles like that gun bottle there I just showed. That thing's a pretty hefty piece. Pretty heavy.
What size shirts do you go up to for Tweedle Die?
I had up to XL. All my XLs are sold out. I had a special order. Mine, obviously, is 6XL.
I know. I was gonna say, how dare you? You don't got a big guy size for me? You're a big guy. You don't have any big guy sizes?
Oh man, I had one. I actually got a 3X for my wife too at one point. Like some big so she can sleep in them.
You didn't think of me when you bought them. I see how it is.
I see that you're losing, so maybe a couple years down the road, a year down the road, you'd be in the next up.
Give me a solid a little bit longer. We'll get there.
I feel you, man. I'm actually down 35 pounds in about a month and a half.
Nice, man. Absolutely good. I hope I can say the same here in about a month and a half. That'd be very cool. Very good.
I switched. Let me see. I've got water. I got my Diet Mountain Dew. Not a sponsor. And these.
They can be if you want. Oh, what you rocking there? Okay.
This is dry pineapple chips, my man. Oh yeah.
Very good, very good. I got my water in my Thor cup right here.
Also, Thor, not a sponsor.
He could be though, Chris. If you want to, just hit me up.
Chris Hemsworth, reach out. We'll see about getting the Avengers sponsorship.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly he might play Hulk Hogan one day, so Chris needs to be on the show.
I heard it was in the works, man. The Hulk Hogan biopic.
I'll see it, brother.
Well, let me tell you something, dude.
All right, Tweedle, Rick.
American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, the humble son of a plumber. My baby Cody. He's out there killing it right now. Killing it. That dog collar match, baby.
I'm so proud. What's the dog's name?
Oh, this is my baby girl. It's my baby girl. Her name's Stormy.
Stormy.
Yeah, and then I got my big dog over here. His name's Boo. He's a grumpy ass. He don't like them.
Well, this is an adorable shot as ever ended on. Any last parting words?
That's the thumbnail right there.
That should be yes. Oh, that's the thumbnail right there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for Rick Riot, Rick Roberts, and Tweedle Die, this is JPO Jordan for Zones. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. I think you did. I know I did. This is the Kayfabe Corner, and as always, keep it kayfabe, dogs and humans alike.